Welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out a 3D printed modification for the Xbox controller to allow for extensions on the thumbstick. As you may know, I have a big library available of designs for accessible gaming, but I have not tested most of them. So I like to pick a file and 3D print it out, actually put it on the controller to see if it works, or if it doesn't, go back to some of the previous videos, you'll see that it doesn't always work out perfectly. And I like to share that with you so that hopefully this helps anyone out there who's looking for modifications and doesn't know if they work or is going to 3D print these. I share some tips and tricks on how to make them work right. Now, before we jump into this modification, I want to thank our Patreon supporters as well as Able Gamers and Prusa Printers. This whole thing functions just because of these groups of people. So if you want to support me, consider joining the Patreon. Everything that I send to people is completely free. If somebody contacts me and needs a modification, they get it free thanks to your support. Let's jump into it. The mod we're going to be looking at today is a stand and extension set by a person that goes by Linear Relation. This looks really cool. I've got a request for it, actually, somebody in the UK who needs it. So I'm going to print it out and send it to them. Looking at the design here on printables, it looks fantastic. I mean, this is a good looking mod. It's got this pretty design. It's already been printed, which is a good sign. So let's jump into it. Let's 3D print it and let's see how it turns out. I printed this on the new Prusa Mark IV, which they've incorporated into the Prusa slicer. They've incorporated these funky supports. They're really neat looking. They're called organic supports. And this is really the first time that I've tried using them for one of these accessibility mods. And so I'm really curious how well it worked. There are some really difficult pieces of this for a normal printer to print cleanly. And it looks like it did a great job. Let's pull it off of the bed and see how it turned out. Some of these parts are no-brainers, like this one. Of course, it's going to turn out fine. But some of these, like I'm really curious about this one here, about how well these supports, boy, they're really tough on this model, but they come off pretty cleanly. Oh my goodness. This underside finish where those supports were is gorgeous. That's the prettiest underside finish I've seen. Here, look at this. We have this long flat piece that would normally have a really nasty underside, and so I'm curious how this turned out. A long flat piece like that would just be a nightmare. Oh my goodness. Well, those are gorgeous. Now we need to review the actual design of the model itself. So let's go ahead and get these parts off of here. Okay, so now let's actually review the design itself. The stand looks really cool. I like how they did this kind of cool twist. I'm already noticing an issue though. We'll get back to this in a moment. Controller sits on the stand and you have all these accessories that go with it. Each one of these accessories has a little thumbstick part that slides into it. Here, let me grab one that's ready. And then that just slides onto the thumbstick and it grips actually pretty well in place. And then you could use your hand to control it. So it's got a joystick, a ring, a ball, which is kind of nice, and a chin cup, which is nice. And then there is also, let me take that back off, there's also this little clip which slides on, which allows, and it clips in here, which allows for the right hand to reach the trigger and the shoulder button. And I really like how they're just using the flexibility of this material to be able to actuate those. It could use a little bit of an adjustment on spacing, but it works. So now to the downsides. first off, it's got this beautiful stand, but there's nothing that holds the controller to the stand. There's no fastening to the controller. So if you are a person who has muscle issues, muscle atrophy or muscular dystrophy or something, you're going to find it like it falls off. I don't really know what to do about this. Right now, I think I'm just going to get some industrial strength Velcro that's, you know, adhesive on one side and attach to it so that the controller will get held down there. And that should be sufficient, but ultimately I would love to see a clamp, maybe this piece integrated into this so it clamps down and holds it on, because, you know, if you've got a joystick out here it's going to just fall right off. That one issue kind of takes this from a very clever design to just really nice but without the stand. So you could use this just, you know, just like this on a surface, and it's really cool. But the stand was really nice. I wish they had fleshed that out a little bit more. The second concern I have is with these little thumbstick clicks. They're very small, and I've got some good material that I use that's pretty rigid. But I am curious about, you know, really, if you were really putting pressure on this, like how long before that snaps? I don't know. It seems pretty sturdy, but it seems like it would also be smart when I ship this to somebody to send like this little piece that slides into the bottom, to send like 20 of these or something in case the little wings snap off of it. Very cool design though. I'd give it a B+, a B. Okay, I got some industrial strength Velcro. We're gonna give this a try. I got this on Amazon. It holds like 15 pounds. Most of them hold like 10. I'm just gonna cut a piece. We're gonna see how well this helps hold the controller on in place. I'm putting the rough side on here. With Velcro, you always have kind of a rough side and a soft side. So I'm putting the rough side on there, so the soft side can be on here in case you use the controller without this. So let's see how well this helps. I mean, it's not going to fall off of there. You know, that does the job. It's not perfect. It seems like it would eventually come off, but that's holding, and then you can peel it off. Velcro is magic. Oh, yeah, I think over time as that gets dirty, you might have an issue. I'd love to see a better stand for this, ultimately, is what I have to say. But as it is, it functions. The rest of the parts are fantastic, though. Great job. As usual, if you'd like to support what I do here by getting these modifications out to people for free, you can support me on Patreon. Big thank you to Able Gamers for their support in what I do, and I will see you in the next video.